I didn't even realize I had that tripod.
Tripping. I didn't realize I still had that. What's going on, people? This is your boy Thunder. You watch a thing on self-help, regular people helping each other help themselves. And today what I want to talk to you about is what's going on in Chicago. I'm going to show you a video and I'm going to give you a little commentary or whatever. First things first I'm going to say is, first thing I started thinking about, basically what's happening in Chicago right now is apparently there might be a serial killer or serial killers going around. And, you know, they're finding bodies and stuff like that. You know, this is what's happening. So, now, you know, murder in Chicago is nothing new, but it's the way that it's happening that's shaking people up. Because of the fact that typically you can avoid some of this stuff by not being involved with what's happening in the streets. Sometimes you can avoid it. Not going to the house party, staying away from the clubs and you know, the scenes where the brainwashed zombies are, you know. And if you can avoid them, then typically you'll be all right. Or be prepared to knock him down before he gets to you. You know, if he's heavily involved in the streets and the gangs anyway, you know, chances are it would be just dismissed in gang violence. He got caught by a rival. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunately, it sounds dismissive of life. But that's the sort of chaos that's happening in Chicago. Now, the reality of the matter is when we get into depth of talking about what's happening in Chicago, politically, you're not hearing about people coming up missing that are living in Lincoln Park or Wicker Park and these nicer areas. I've lived on the south side of Chicago. I've lived in Wicker Park, Lincoln Park, the more expensive sides of town. And in those sides of town, you don't really have the type of violence and the type of problems that you see happening in certain areas on the south side or the west side. It's because these areas have been designated kill zones. These are areas that the politicians in power in Chicago have decided that these are delegated to be the kill zones. When they decide that they want an area to no longer be a kill zone, they'll clean it up, build condos in those areas, and you'll watch the crime rate magically disappear in that area. So how is that happening? How is it that they can move into like places like Humboldt Park? How is it that the crime rate in Humboldt Park can magically disappear if it's uncontrollable? If it's impossible for them to control the violence or the gang violence and this stuff, they can control it. It's political. There are designated kill zones in areas where those type of things are allowed to happen, and that's what it is. That's just the truth. You know, people will pretend to be stupid and act like they. Some people believe that the high crime rate in Chicago has to do with the strict gun laws. That's what some people believe, that these thugs that are running the streets are enraged because there's strict gun laws, and that's the reason why they go out and sell drugs, and that's the reason that they go out and kill people and kill each other because they don't like the strict gun laws. That's what some of these stupid conservatives believe. It's idiotic. It doesn't even make sense. Crime in Chicago has nothing to do with the gun laws, okay? It just doesn't. It's not about that, right? It's political. There's kill zones, areas where the politicians and people in positions of power have decided these are the areas that the murders can happen in, all right? That's what happens. That's what's happening in Chicago, all right? That's just a little bit of reality. I'm going to show you this video and then we'll get back to this commentary. Hopefully the video hasn't moved, so that happens sometimes. It'll just move. But here it is. Here's the video. Now this is graphic. You're going to see parts of a body of a deceased person, but you'll let's watch the video.
He ain't got no face, no nothing. He got a phone. He black. Hey, how you? Yeah, we is. On the folk on us, that's a big body. Everybody got back up. On the next block. Everybody got back up. Everybody got back up. Everybody got back up. Y'all see this shit? Let's go. Back up, back to the gangway. Hey, what y'all gonna do about this? Chicago. Let's go. Hold up.
now that's what's happening. I'm gonna go ahead and close that down. So that's what's happening. In Chicago, they found another body. Okay, so there's been girls. Sounds like this is a male, and there's a lot of different possibilities. A lot of different possibilities that you can consider. It could be people snatching folks for somebody else. They snatch these folks up and they let these people go mutilate these people, and then they dump the bodies. It could be cops. That's the reason why a person would stop. A cop pulls you over, pulls up behind you, puts you in handcuffs, and they take you off somewhere to get tortured and all of this stuff. This is a possibility as well. So what I would propose is, I don't know, let me not say that because that gets into religion and all of that. While talk about being a cursed people and stuff like that, and the last will be first. I can see all of that happening. But what I'm saying is, be prepared. You have to be aware of your surroundings at all times. I don't care if it looks like a cop, if it's not a cop, even if it is a cop. You have to pay attention to what's happening around you and live your life accordingly. That's what you have to do. This is a mistake that I think a lot of people make. One mistake is your argument, your situation with a cop. If a cop pulls you over, your debate, your battle with the cop is not at your car window. You want to get him away from you as fast as possible. Stop listening to these people on YouTube telling you to fight and argue back and forth with the police. That's not where the battle is fought. The battle is fought in the pockets of the people that control him. Right? That's where the battle is fought. So you need to focus your attention and your efforts in a different direction. And it has a lot to do with money. That's one point. The next thing I want to say is being aware of your surroundings. And quite frankly, you need to be armed with something. You know what I mean? And I'll say, one thing that I learned from OGs in Chicago a long time ago. Revolvers are your best friend. A revolver is your best friend, for obvious reasons. And you never load a clip barehanded. That's another thing. And you need to know where your shells, which side of the gun does your shells come out. You need to know how many times you fired, and you need to, if you can, you need to, cover your own ass, right? Because we live in a system, we live in a world whereas you can be attacked. Someone could try to kidnap you, rape you, whatever. And if you get them before they get you, you could be prosecuted. So you have to adjust accordingly. Simple as that. Whatever that means. So, and aside from that, I'm going to say this. Now, that's with addressing yourself and protecting yourself, defending yourself. Now, with that aside, I'm going to say this. All of you people that are in Chicago or surrounding anywhere in the U.S., you see this type of stuff happen, and then you go back and you support these people in the entertainment industry that are involved with all this satanic stuff. This is the reason why this is happening to you. In Chicago, all the murder, the serial killer running around. When you listen and you watch this dead body in the back of a garbage truck, you see it there, and you get upset, you get hurt by it, you get disturbed by it, and then later on you calm down and you back to banging this same satanic stuff. There's a lot of satanic chants in this stuff. It's poison. And the reason why I'm focusing on that is because what that music does is it does not encourage thought. Essentially, it makes you stupid. It makes you dumb. It makes you dull. It makes you just vulnerable, unaware. It puts you in a trance in an unrealistic world. Whereas being a male, in order to be an alpha male in the hood, you have to be self-destructive. And that's what that sort of music perpetuates in your brain. That's what it teaches you. It teaches you to be an alpha male is to be a stupid person, right? For an example, you living in a world right now where we've been dealing with police brutality, people getting away with killing black folks left and right. We see that we can't really rely on the justice system, but you go numb to that reality and you're not proactive in trying to bring it to a stop. We black folks in the conscious community can say, hey, what we need to do is we need to boycott major, corporations that we give our money to. Stop giving them money. And you just be like, oh man, whatever. I ain't got time for all of that black power bullshit. And then your cousin shows up in the back of a garbage can with his face cut off. And you're like, you're sad, upset. But while you're upset and sad about it, the guy next to you is like, and 2 days later, he's back to, he's back in La La Land, back in a trance, not paying attention to what's happening. Nothing else, nothing matters. Get high and drunk, just like the people like this music is telling you. Get high and drunk, be stupid, be unaware. Be high, drunk, stupid, and unaware. And then you're next. You get killed. And then your mother is sad for the rest of her life. The guy next to you, sad for 2 days, concerned 2 days. Now he's back in the trance again. Unaware. And we're telling you the way we can stop this stuff is by coming together and all choosing to keep our money in our pockets. And that's how we can resolve this problem. But you're not paying attention because you're in a trance. You see what I'm saying? So this is reality. And when you listening to, like, I know Cardi B just had a song where she's talking about be careful, and she's walking around with the cross upside down and all this stuff. Be careful, don't play with me, yada yada yada. And you'll hear people in some of these people that are vowed to Satan, you'll hear them say to you, be careful. Give you little indirect, say these little indirect statements. These people have vowed themselves to, the dark energy of the universe, and it's directed at you. But you don't realize what's happening to you. So what they're telling you and what's happening in that type of music is they're putting you in a destructive trance, in a cycle. The thing that people don't want to realize or don't want to acknowledge is when you say it's just music, it's not just music. It's not. Art has always been a very heavy part of our culture. Look at how we spoke. Look how we communicated through hieroglyphs, art, paintings. You see what I'm saying? That's how we communicate. That's how we told other people on the other sides of the world, hey, this is what we're doing over here. Right? That this has always been a very important part of our culture. Now, when you are dismissive of that and people infiltrate the music, the devils infiltrate the music, and they turn it into something that is, instead of affecting your culture in a progressive way, as they saw it did, they took that and they turned it into something negative, something that puts you in a trance and leaves you vulnerable. So now the serial killers, the racists, the devils of the world that like to inflict their dark energy in a physical form, that you're ripe for the picking because you're not paying attention. You're ripe for the picking. I see it all the time. I see black girls do it all the time. I see black guys do it all the time. Let me explain something to you. I've watched a black girl see a devil say something blatantly racist to a black man, and then he would turn around and pretend to be her friend and act like he cares. He's concerned about her well-being. Oh, I would never disrespect. Oh, you're so precious. And she's, oh, okay. And she just goes for it. And then later on, you read stories about black girls being found hung in trees. And you wonder how that's happening. You can watch a devil be a devil blatantly in your face, and then for some reason believe that this person is your friend because they have trained you to be the opposition of your partner, which is the black man. So they train you to be destructive or hateful towards him, fight and be destructive towards your own family, rip your family apart, and then they pretend to be your friend, have their way with you, then they hang you in a tree. And everybody's, what happened to the black girl? How did this black girl get hung in a tree? You know what they say? They say you killed yourself. They say you committed suicide. And your children will go on motherless, and they within their hopes that your children will eventually have the same fate as you. That's a reality of what's happening in America. And it's their way that they can control. One of the methods that they can use to control the masses of black people in America, one of their systems is through entertainment. Netflix used to be safe. Hulu used to be safe. I used to watch these. And now I see more shows with subliminal messaging that is designed in a way to turn a woman away from her man, her natural man. You know, and it's nothing wrong. Like, we're all one human race, you know. But what happened with the satanic supremacy in America is, and not only in America but around the world, is they took what the one human race and divided them up into groups, and then they created system in which to inflict destruction against those groups. And in doing that, what happens is you have to embrace your group in order for survival. So in embracing your one group, they do things they devise plans to create separatism from the other groups. So while you're focusing on fixing the problems within your own group, hopefully you will begin to develop a level of hatred for the other group. And that way, there's still separatism. Either way, there's a problem. But the way that we fix this problem is first finding love and how to love yourself as a man or a woman. Learn how to love your partner, you know. And together, love your children, love your community. And then you can properly know how to love your neighbor, who is a white man, a Mexican man, an Asian man, or somebody else. And that love cycles and continues. And that's how you undo the damage. You see what I'm saying? But it's like a living being with 20,000 nerves. I don't know, 100 million nerves. And what they did was they take something that is natural and you put something. It's like taking a negative charge. It's like taking a syringe and injecting hatred or a negative sludge into the veins of that living creature, and watching how it drips, you know, it drains down throughout the veins of the body. And what we would assume is that it has now taken over the entire body, and the entire body is consumed with darkness. But it's not. That's not the case at all. What we have is a lack of acknowledgement of what's really happening, and a persistent effort to keep people from opening their eyes and realizing what's going on. Because the moment that people realize what's going on, done. That's how weak that dark energy is. That's how irrelevant it is. Because in the face of light, it doesn't stand a chance. Just the smallest glimpse of light can cause all of darkness to disappear. I mean, just think about it. If you're in a dark room, in a completely dark room with no windows, and somehow there's a little peep, a little, a little prick, a little hole pops up in the top corner of the wall, what's going to happen in the room? Everything, every piece of darkness in the room will see that light. Everything. Just a little bit of light, a little bit, will alter that darkness completely. And if somebody realizes that hole is possible, and somebody gets the heart to go over there and start hammering away at that hole until it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and suddenly the entire room is filled with light. It's common sense how spirituality works. So I'm making this vlog to encourage people to open your eyes and realize that you have to change. You have to literally detox. You have to change the food you're eating. To people, they be like, "What the hell does this have to do with people finding bodies and people getting murdered? What does this have to do with that?" And that's what darkness is going to do. It's going to resist light, and that's what it's supposed to do. It wants to stay dark. It wants to keep you trapped. So the first thing you're supposed to do is resist any form of light. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what that system, that's what that monster or that beast or that devil, that's what it does, whatever you want to call it. But what you have to do is you have to detox yourself from darkness. You have to step away from things. And some of that darkness lives in fast food. Sounds crazy. Fast food. You have to eat more vegetables, eat more fruits, cook your food. Go fishing, catch your own fish. And, you have to literally detox. You got to detox your body. You got to exercise. You got to get your mind right. You got to be mindful of the things that you're watching with your eyes for forms of entertainment. You ever notice if you're looking on Facebook, and I've suffered from this, and I still do. You look on Facebook and you are subconsciously, you may not even realize it, but you're looking for negative things. You're like, ooh, the gossip. Ooh, what's going on with the gossip? This is the situation with 6'9" in Chicago. He's obviously aligned himself with the devil, with the satanic system. And he's being aided. He's being assisted. He's getting... now, think about it. Think about this 6'9" guy. Think about this shit. He was just in New York where they fired shots at a hotel full of innocent people because Chief Keef was in the hotel, right? But this same person can come to Chicago and get police escort. You see what I'm saying? So the beast will assist the beast in causing destruction. Essentially, what could happen is the Bloods could end up in a war with the BDs in Chicago, and now you got a war between people in Chicago. You got a war going on from Chicago to New York. You see what I'm saying? Now, if somebody's from Chicago or New York, the cops are thinking he's there to kill somebody. Or the Bloods in New York trying to kill him, and anybody from Chicago, from New York and Chicago is at risk, and anybody listening to this guy's music can get killed, murdered for listening to a song. You see what I'm saying? It's a detrimental thing. It's a dangerous thing. So why I heard people talk, oh, he makes some dope songs. No, all of that stuff is satanic. You need to step away from that. It's destructive. Women are submitting to men, calling them bitches. A man refers to you as a bitch, as a hoe, as a worthless piece of trash, and you bopping and dancing to it. And ladies, while you're bopping and dancing to that shit. I want you to be mindful of the fact that they're finding your bodies mutilated, body parts cut off, tortured to death. And that's what they're finding you while you're in a trance and I'm a bitch, I'm a hoe, hey bitch, I'm a hoe, and then they find your body in pieces. Because you're in a trance. You're not paying attention. You're unaware. You're not paying attention to what's happening in the world that you live in and that you are a target. There is a reason why when it comes to, and I'm going to end this video after this, there's a reason when it comes to our music, right? Our culture, it has to be infiltrated. People that you look up to and respect in the game are playing coon to satanic supremacy. Kanye West. Look at it. Pay attention to it. I'm gonna go listen to this album and I'm gonna rock it anyway, even though I've seen this man submit to a satanic system. I'm gonna go listen to it anyway because it sounds good. I can jam to it, and you're not paying attention to what's happening around you. You're in that trance again. It doesn't matter. Person next to you just got kidnapped and murdered. Don't matter. Watch This Is America, Childish Gambino video. Listen to the lyrics. Pay attention to what he's doing in the song. Because you're too busy doing the nay-nay that you don't realize there's a man standing up behind you with putting a rope around your neck to murder you. And this is something that makes every devil in this system feel such a excitement, such a great, fulfilling joy. All of those people, these we call them, you can call them alt-right and this and that. How happy do you think they feel knowing that little black girls are getting kidnapped and mutilated and raped and all of this stuff? It makes them feel great. They're happy. You see what I'm saying? They watch you and they wait for you, a vulnerable situation. They're looking for you to be unprepared. Right? So they can attack you. They're attacking little kids. So, I don't want to say the typical thing, my prayers go out to Chicago. Because if you are not in tune with that light, if you're not in tune with the Most High, you're not in tune with that energy, I personally don't know what my prayers would do for you. What anybody's prayers would do for you. Not that my prayers are so great. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what anybody's prayers would do for you. Because the devil is paying well. The devil pays these people well. He pays them well. Now, he destroys them in the process as well. But he pays them a lot of money to go out and be an instrument of destruction to the children of God. And you need to ask yourself, do you want to be destroyed? You have to ask yourself, where is natural fulfillment? Where is natural gratification? Where does it live? What is gratifying to you about being called a bitch? Why do you want to dance and rock out to something that calls you worthless? You have to ask yourself that. And then try to turn away from it and watch how an energy, you'll feel it like it's in your chest trying to pull you back. Come back to me, come back to me, come back to me. And I'm telling you, there's something living in that. there is something living in that doesn't want you to live. It wants you to die with it. It wants you to die with it. It wants you to burn and suffer with it. It needs you to. So I say all of that to say, I love you guys. Step into light. I have work to do on myself too, because I've struggled with some bad energy. Like I wrote a song called Figaro that's just horrible, and it's basically me talking about basically taking some dude's girl and having my way with her, and it's not the sort of thing that I promote. So it's a song that has to just die. It sounds good. I play it and people be like, oh, that, but I can't feed into that. I have to step away. So all the money, all the time and the effort that was invested in that song has to go. There's too much at stake. So, and it's very serious. I hope that this video gets acknowledgement, that it's helpful to people, and I'll keep them coming. So thanks for watching. This is your boy Thano. You watching Thano with self-help, regular people helping each other help themselves. Peace.